President, ladies and gentlemen, well, here I am again, and here we are again. It's wonderful to be here. Thank you for inviting us. This is our 10th year, so it's something of an anniversary. And it's great that we're actually here, so that's all very good. Before I introduce the class, the current class, I'd like to mention all the people who have been involved in this particular intake. And also, as Lee mentioned, I'll provide a little bit of background about the Skilled Migrant Program for people who may not know so much. So do bear with me, those of you who know a lot about it. It's this one, isn't it? That's right. I'll talk about this aspect too and thanking everybody, but this is what I just want to show you as way of background. I don't know if you remember that photograph. I think it was taken here in this very room in about 2010 or 11, possibly 12. It was an article in the Dominion Post about Rotary and its involvement with the Skilled Migrant Program. So it gives you a small idea of the number of people from this club who have been involved. This is only a very small fraction of those people at the end of the lunch who had time to stay back for the photo. But the course began, as many of you remember, in 2005 in response to a government brief that something be done about the number of unemployed or underemployed skilled migrants in New Zealand that was revealed in the 2001 census. It was seen as a huge waste, as we know, to the country, and a huge resource that we weren't using. So Victoria University started a program, and this is when I came in. It was decided it should be 12 weeks and it would be fully funded, so the government would pay all the costs. 6 weeks of the course would be classroom tuition, and 6 weeks would be a placement in a workplace. That we would cover things like communication skills for the New Zealand environment, job interviews, and you can see here many aspects where Rotary members have been very helpful and contributed. New Zealand history and culture, how to write an email, CV, cover letter, oral presentations. And for 10 years now we've been running, and so we've got about nearly 200 graduates of this program. We only ever take 12 at any particular time, who come from over 22 countries. Some are from Asia, Europe, Africa, the Middle East, South America, the Philippines, India, and come from a wide range of professions as well. I've just noted a few here: law, medicine, engineering, accounting, IT, business analysis, public relations, management, marketing, banking, education, HR, finance, policy, and about another 20 that I won't go into here. Everybody who comes on the program has to have some experience in their profession, and they have to have a good level of English. And they also need to be either underemployed or unemployed. And we know, thanks to Jeff Baskin's cost-benefit analysis, that for every $98 that is spent on this program, no, sorry, the other way around. For every $1 that's spent on this program, there's a $98 return for the country. Because New Zealand hasn't been involved in providing education, providing healthcare for skilled migrants. They come ready to work, and so a 3-month program is often all they need. So hopefully that gives you a bit of background about this program. So now I want to thank all the people who have been involved, first of all, as job interview tutors and conversation tutors, and many of these people have been coming for 10 years. Helen Augar, Stephen Brown, Donna Dentis, Brian Hassel, Christine Hurley, Janie Kukaldi, John Melville, Colleen Singleton, Joan Smith, and Tony White. So these people have been coming along every Tuesday to practice. And here's some of them in action. Helen Augar, Janie Kukaldi, Dennis Kukaldi's partner, Christine Hurley, Joan Smith, John Melville, and Colleen Singleton, Stephen Brown, Donna Dentis, Tony White, who's Heather Hayden's partner, and Brian Hassel. So those are invaluable, those sessions. In fact, a lot of the graduates of the program consider that their success in job interviews subsequently has been a result of all this practice they have every week. And thank you to the guest lecturers who have been coming, also many of them for 10 years. Helen Augar, Peter Lawson, Brian Lynch, Lady Susan and Sir Anand Satyanand, Carol Stigley, Lee Wilkinson, and also on this course, Denisa Galinovic from the Johnson Group, who, as Lee mentioned, was a graduate of this program in 2012, was it? 11, 12. Yeah, 11. Okay, good. So here are some photos of the guest lecturers. Helen Augar talking about interview tips. Sir Anand and Lady Susan Sachinand talking about governance in New Zealand and what it means to be a New Zealander. Peter Lawson giving his great talk on interview technique and role-playing with a member of the class in front of everybody else. Brian Lynch, New Zealand in the World, with his upside-down map of the world with New Zealand in the central bit. Lee Wilkinson, thinking on your feet. What are 3 things I can say about that? Very useful strategy. Carol Stigley telling us what New Zealand employers really want. Very helpful. And the people who have volunteered to be mentors for the current class, thank you very much to Tracy Brown, Marion Cowden, Roger Drummond, Derek Gill, John Fletcher, Duncan MacDonald, Elisa Menzela, Murray Milner, Grant Uridge, Tricia Warbridge, and Ewan Wright. Thank you very much. We've met a lot of you this morning, and we've had the match-up meeting this morning, which is great. Thank you too, though. Many people who have been mentors in the past, and I know that you're still in touch with your protégés from many years ago. So that's fantastic. Thank you to Richard Norman, the Chair of the Vocational Service Committee, to John Emanuel and Derek Gill, who were responsible for organising the mentoring relationship, to Lee Johnson, as always, and everybody at the Johnson Group for finding fantastic internships. Key part of this program is the workplace experience, and once again, it's been a very, very successful experience for everyone. And thank you too. I know that lots of people in the club have helped source internships, and they do that from each time we have a course, so that's very valuable help. And I always like to show you this slide, which shows all the internship organisations from the club which are related to the club. So these are organisations of people who have taken internships, interns, and members of the club closely involved. And here's the slide, which shows how many people in the club have been involved since 2005. So we're over 100 now, which is pretty amazing. And now I'd like to introduce the members of the current course. First of all, this is Jaime Olmos from the Philippines. And Jaime, do you mind standing up? Sorry, I didn't warn you about this part in the classroom this morning, but if you could stand up. And Jaime has a background in operational policy, compliance, regulation, and accreditation, and other policy work. And the great news about Jaime is that today he started a 3-month contract at MSD, which was his internship employer. Anana Pal from India, who's a specialist in HR, recruitment, and HR administration. And she also will begin a 2-month contract next week. Tomorrow, right, tomorrow, at the Ministry of Transport, where she's had her internship. Elsa Zhang from China, who has a long background in accounting.
She's gone up to move her car.
All right. Frank Cheng from China, who has extensive experience in investment research, market development, and financial services, and ran his own company in China for over 10 years in this area. Grace Ni from Taiwan, who has, again, around about 9 or 10 years experience in banking and accounting. And she has a 2-month contract beginning at the end of October. Also at EPA, where she did her internship. Shanshan Liu from China, who has done a lot of assistant accounting work and is looking for that area too. Silvia Rodriguez from Argentina, who is in fact a lawyer, trained lawyer from Argentina. In New Zealand, she has done, almost completed, the legal executive diploma and is looking for work around in the law area, legal research or legal assistant work. Yamini Saravanan sorry, Yamini, from India, whose background is in accounting and finance and Oracle Financials Accounting. Sakina Sheikh from India, who has a background in programming and test analysis, but she's looking for work as a test analyst here in New Zealand. Jane Demon from the Philippines. She is an IT professional with a lot of background in project management and project coordination, and her recent work has been in Singapore. Jeanette Doblas from the Philippines, who has a background in policy research, analysis and advocacy, technical creative writing, project management, parliamentary support and administration, so extensive background. And Jeffrey Liang from China, who is a software developer with a specialty in data modeling and large data processing. And the good news about Jeffrey is that he started work several weeks ago at Cordia as a programmer. So we are now 180 graduates in total, not counting this group, so that's 192. Our figures remain around about 75 to 80% of that group are working in their professional area. And as you can see also, there's good outcomes from the current group. And I want to say before I finish, thank you very much everybody here in the club for all your efforts, especially people on the Vocational Service Committee, in securing funds for this program. You might remember that last year we ran with a small group and we only ran with a bit of scholarship money, which was I very gratefully received from the club and other donors. And I want to say at this point thank you to Jeff Baskand for the crucial role you played in getting our funding renewed. We now have funding from MB until the middle of next year, and then at that point we have the opportunity to extend the contract for a further 2 years. So it looks like we're, pretty much, looks like we're doing all right for a little while, let's say. So thank you very much. I'm really grateful to the club's help. University is very grateful, and I know the skilled migrants are extremely grateful for everybody's input and contribution. This is a really good partnership. It's a partnership that works really well, and this course couldn't be what it is without everybody's contribution. So thank you very much once again. And now I'd like to introduce Janet Doblas, who's a member of the current class, who's going to give a 5-minute talk.
Thank you, Nicky. Lee Wilkinson, President of the Rotary Club, Wellington, distinguished guests, classmates, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. So this is how it feels to speak in front of a distinguished group of people. I come from the Philippines, and I am used to writing speeches, but not deliver them myself. So I will try my best to honor the vote of my classmates and to apply what I have learned from class and from Lee Wilkinson on how to come across as confident, taming the butterflies in my stomach. Yeah. So like all my skilled classmates here, I came to New Zealand lured by its greener pasture, by its magnificent landscape, and the prospect of continuing my career and balancing this with raising a family. I have a degree in economics and a master's in international development. And most of my career in the Philippines, I spent doing policy research, analysis, and advocacy, and providing support to parliamentarians. I started as a journalist, writing news and feature articles to help me pay through my way through university. My passion in writing about people and about things that matter to them led me to a policy career. For 3 years, I volunteered in my university social involvement and coordinating office so that I could immerse myself in policy issues in depressed areas and war-ravaged communities. I wanted to see life from the perspective of the people living in these areas. When I graduated, I took a job as an economic researcher tweaking numbers, and making statistics appealing to public. And then I got a job, a policy job in a business council where I literally hopped from region to region, consulting with business sectors on policy issues. There I learned the art of war on policy development, from writing policy papers to formulating resolutions and effective advocacy through collaboration with media and other agencies. From there, I moved on to a government office to supervise and coordinate peace and development projects and initiatives in southern Philippines. After my master's in Japan, I was offered a job at the Office of International Relations of the Philippine Senate. Working there provided an international dimension to my policy career, and in preparing briefing folders or briefing papers and speeches for parliamentarians, I had to consider not only the local context, but my country's role in the global community. And that global perspective has led me and my family here in New Zealand. New Zealand has blessed me with a wonderful boy, and I have spent 5 years homeschooling him and exploring the country with my family. Like all mothers in our class, rejoining the workforce after years of being tied up in childcare is a difficult obstacle to hurdle. But now, I am fortunate that I am to be involved again in policy work as an intern in the Upper Hutt City Council as part of the Skilled Migrant Program. This internship opportunity, translated into job offers for most members of the class, would not have been possible without the strong support of Victoria University, the Johnson Group, and the Rotary Club of Wellington. On behalf of the class, I would like to extend our deepest gratitude to the Rotary Club for believing in us and for being with us on this journey of finding ourselves in New Zealand and helping us search for that job and career where we could best contribute our skills and experiences. Thank you everyone for your time, patience, and advice in the mock interviews, for sharing your expertise with us in guest lectures, and for offering continued support as our mentors. And thank you for inviting us to lunch today. My classmates, please join me in a round of applause for the Rotary Club of Wellington.